Good morning, YouTube. I am Shaggy. I am Philolitea, and it is Saturday. I have nothing prepared for this morning. I have no thoughts. I have woken up. I have smoked. I have watched 29 minutes of YouTube and TikTok drivel, and I have come away with it with nothing to say. If I were going to do a takeaway, if you came here anticipating or hoping for or looking for a takeaway from yesterday's shorts, the comments from strangers or non-frequent uh, shaggy flyers by night or day, flyers by, um, we would end up talking about Jelly Roll. And Jelly Roll wasn't what I was talking about in that video, but people wanted to jump in and defend Jelly Roll himself as inspirational. So if the future audience is tuning into these for the first 20 minutes or so when people are still rolling in, good morning. If the future audience is watching this for the first 20 minutes or so when people are still rolling in, then yesterday's takeaway is that people are very sensitive about Jelly Roll himself, and that a lot of people do not dehumanize, or at least change the classification of criminals. A lot of people do not think of convicted criminals as a different kind of person than the non-convicted non-criminal. Like, a lot of people think that the difference between a convict, a convicted felon, and a criminal, and a non-criminal is evidence. A lot of people believe that. A lot of people accuse me of being, yep, see, who dat? A lot of people don't differentiate between criminals and non-criminals. And so I'm not talking about Jelly. Hello, Jalora. Did I get that how you say it? Well, good morning. There are 11 of you suddenly. Konnichiwa. Hello, Curious Thinker. Hello, Kais. Oh, I can say this. Ikosa Tetrahedron. It's going all right. Uh, it's great to see you. I was talking to the future audience about how if I were going to talk until people showed up for me to say hello to and ask how they're doing and pivot to what they were talking about, I was going to end up talking about yesterday's work and the yesterday's work that got travelers. I'm doing all right. My back hurts. But yesterday's work that got travelers was a video saying that the award that uh, Jelly Roll got, Best New Artist, he did this whole speech about how he was 39, I'm 38, and the Best New Artist thing is about it's about being aspirational. If I can do this at 39, just think about what you could do. And what I said is, that's not aspirational. Getting an ironic pity award isn't. See, who dat is going to continue. That a lot of people don't differentiate between the criminal and the non. What they try to do is they try to make this argument of evidence. Well, the criminal is the same kind of thing. It's still a human being, but it's still a criminal. It's a criminal kind of human being. It's not just the kind of human being that has been convicted. It is the kind of human being that is willing to commit crimes. And the people who are willing to be sergeants in prison systems are the kinds of people who are willing to do inhuman things to human people. And so they have to justify it, and they have to mind fuck themselves into believing that it comes down to the person whether or not I'm willing to do a criminal act to them. And they have to believe that everyone is like them. So they spend their money to make sure that criminals are seen in the public eye as undifferentiated from the rest of the human population. but they are differentiated from the human population in action, and that action is violence and other criminal activities. So a prison guard, and it wouldn't blow me away that you like him and you exist within the prison community. A prison guard would need to justify their existence. That's just how that works. And so if I were going to talk about yesterday's war, what I would not be talking about is Jelly Roll, but what I would constantly have to do is defend myself from people who know that they shouldn't be listening to him. Hello, Snow the Squirrel. What I would be talking about is pity awards. Pity awards are not aspirational. Participation awards are not aspirational. But see, not understanding the difference in aspirational and inspirational is why a person can't differentiate between a criminal and a non-criminal. And so they just assume that everyone is a criminal. The inability to discriminate, the ability to differentiate between different classes and types of things is why people are taken advantage of all the time. This is why prison guards exist. We have to have people that live beyond the border of that differentiation. And this is why prison guards are not public communicators, because they don't communicate back across the divide. Prison guards don't exist outside the locked walls of a prison. They exist to reinforce them, to literally enforce the walls and what they mean. Do you think so, Starkey? You evidently aren't going anywhere either. I do this for a living, Snow. This exact thing that you're witnessing right now is what I do for a living. Starkey could demonstrate what going somewhere in life looks like by doing this. Just saying. My dad used to say that the most powerful form of leadership is leadership by example. How you doing this morning, Snow? Do you want to talk about your living? The Tao Te Ching describes the going somewhere of Starkey's this guy is going nowhere in life, and that's a fact. The Tao Te Ching describes that as going nowhere. Subordinate Striker, the Tao Te Ching describes the master as still like a leaf on a stream. So these fountains, if they're living water, in the sense of Jesus, I've never been in jail before. Well, I've been in jail, but I wasn't under protection, Tasha. How you doing, Striker? I learned something about myself playing Final Fantasy 7 and then Final Fantasy 3 yesterday. Maybe participation awards can be aspirational, because that top fans, when it's actually one of my fans, is meant to be aspirational. So I have to rethink whether participation awards are aspirational, because the magic is participation, and I might be being contradictory. Because if you put a special cap on one of your participants so that other people will participate because they want a cap, and then you create a secondary special cap for those people, and then you make merchandise, you have a small business. So I need to be careful in how I describe cult. There are spiders out here, yes, Johnson. It's been warm, sports car. But I learned some things about myself playing Final Fantasy 3 last night that it's going to take me some time to talk about, because you guys aren't my therapist. and I'm not paying for therapy anymore. Thank you for all those likes. Hey, KJ. It actually wasn't anything that Final Fantasy did. That's not true. It wasn't the narrative. The narrative is mostly bad, and then it gets really good, but it's mostly bad. The narrative of Final Fantasy VII is mostly cliche. Um, so if you go to it looking for original ideas, especially within the narrative, you're going to be very, very disappointed, especially as an author yourself. But like I would have cut everything. I would have cut everything before going north. Everything before going north is a mess. Heard that, master of the mundane. If you can master the mundane, you can do anything. Heard that, Striker. Happy to hear it. Glad your Saturday seems to have gone well for you. But I realized about myself, um, I realized about myself playing Final Fantasy III that I leave myself open to particular obvious unfair advantages, and then when they happen, all I do is impotently bitch about it. Well, Seven wasn't trying to have a profound story. Well, they were trying to have a profound story, but it was the first time they'd told a story in 3 dimensions, and they were trying to one up 6 while maintaining the 3-5 job system format. So seven opens up the job system with the materia in a way that I didn't realize until yesterday, because I'm playing 3 and I prefer 5 to 3, so I'm taking 3 seriously and moving slowly. But the story in 7 is just a jumbled fucking mess. The director, it was the first time the Yoshinori Kitase was the director of the game, and it's just a jumbled mess of Tetsuya Nomura plot lines. And so he didn't know how to rein in Tetsuya Nomura until 9, and then I can never remember his name, but the original director took back over for 10, and that's why 10 has a storyline that makes sense. 7, 8, and 9 were his efforts at being a mentor and teaching those young men how to direct video games so his fucking ass could retire. 7 and 8 happened simultaneously. They were made simultaneously. But I learned about myself that I leave myself open to the obvious unfair advantage in my opponents, undefended by it. Look at me living in a tent right now. Anybody could come by and destroy my shit, and I can't defend myself against it. Yeah, 12, and then 12 was the first time that an outside director had well, not an outside director, but a director outside the first 9 had been involved. So 12 was the 12 was the guy who was in charge of the combat system of 10, and 10 was supposed to have 12's combat system. And then he went on to direct 11, so they gave him 12. So he did a hybrid of the two things. Um, uh, 12 and his 11 and his original idea for 10. But then all I do is bitch about it. When I leave myself open to the obvious attack, the obvious advantage, all I do is bitch about it. All I've ever done my whole life is bitch about it. And then I found myself, or just overcoming it. And so I found myself last night when I was playing Final Fantasy 3 realizing that where that came from was being a 6-year-old boy brute forcing his way through Final Fantasy 6. Like, I taught myself math, I taught myself to read to understand that game. I taught myself literary critical theory, I guess, literary criticism to understand what the fuck is going on in Final Fantasy 6. I taught myself investigatory skills like problem solving skills of, okay, who the hell do I have to talk to next to figure out where to go in this goddamn game? And so 7 doesn't reward any of that in the way that 6 does. So I've never vibed with it. I liked Cloud, but I didn't realize until last night, and we're not going to talk about this. This isn't going to be that show, but nobody in the popular conversation around Cloud understands what the fuck is going on there. Yeah, Final Fantasy 12 is a really fun open world game. I played it with a strategy guide one time, the month that it came out. I don't like the Zodiac system or whatever they call it. I fucking hate Zodiac system. In fact, 12 is not an odd numbered game. It should not have a job system. That pisses me off. It actively pisses me off. And then 13 not having a job system pisses me off. It's supposed to go 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, and they just did not stick to the pattern at all. Riven and Mist. Yeah, I grew up playing Mist. My grandmother was a gamer and she played all of those games. So I figured, well, if my grandma can beat it and she's a girl, I can probably beat it. I never beat Riven or Mist. My grandmother was a smart old lady. Hey, Hunter. Dementia and Alzheimer's run in our family. So that was her move, was 3D puzzle games. I did see I watched a video about that. A guy I watched a clout chaser make a video about how he was in the original live stream and that there's some drama about it because one guy said he did it, it didn't do it, and then another guy went and did it, and it took a lot more than 2 hours. Oh yeah, okay, 2 years is what you actually wrote, Kyle. Yeah, it took about 2 years, 10 million hours or whatever, 10 million experience at 88 experience per 2 minutes. That's how it went. Final Fantasy the movie, the Spirits Within, I think is what it's called. Yeah, the genius behind Final Fantasy, I don't remember his name, but the original genius is an idiosyncratic storytelling genius who borrows a lot from Star Wars. But once he broke away from the Star Wars format, man, he did some really interesting stuff. Thank you for your conversation, Free Fair Legend. I wish you knew what a legend was. Probably what free and fair are too. But when I started to adjust and say, okay, well, what is the game telling me that it's going to do to me? And then what can I do to negate that? I started beating bosses in Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy III like they weren't in front of me. So that says something about me. That says something about me and persistence that I don't know how to talk on yet in a comprehensive way. But if this is for confession, hello, O. Um, if confession is something that I'm trying to encourage people to do, to share, confess, talk about what you're working on, even if it's on the inside. And most of my work is done inside out. Um, and that was just a confession. I've been learning about myself. I play these games to engage with the games, but what I find is that I learn more about myself. That that might be a me thing. And yeah, Cloud is not who people talk about him being. I'm not even sure that they understand who Cloud is in the Crisis Core game. Because I've played that 3 times. And I'm not even sure they understand who Cloud is in that. But the movie, Advent Children, is the game. No, Dirge Cerberus is the game. Advent Children is the movie. They get it. That's not for me, Striker. Hey, Bella. Just for the record, we had a tiny misunderstanding yesterday. I was teasing him because I thought he was talking about you, and he was supposed to say, "I'm not talking about you." And what he said made me and you think that what he was doing was trying to confuse us both. So I just put him on silent for a day. He wasn't talking about you. I was trying to get him to tell you, I'm not talking about you, if he wasn't talking about you, but he wouldn't say those words. Hello, moderator. So we had a little bit of a teaching moment. That was the point. I'm doing great, Bella. I hope you're doing better. I is Shaggy Philalitea H. Yeah, Striker. He was extra. Yeah, Striker's right. I was kind of hoping somebody would get him to stop for a second and be like, "Bro, were you talking about her?" But whatever. He ended up figured it out. I think he just didn't figure out what was going on. I think it took him a few hours to figure out what was going on. So, for everybody in the future, this is a safe place. And he wasn't doing anything wrong. Ghost Samurai wasn't doing anything wrong. He was being a little weird from my perspective about talking about women to a woman, but whatever. She wasn't against it. And then we move on because no one was actually hurt. That's funny, KJ. I just found the irony of someone called professional moderator trolling me um, moderately amusing. Sanjay, I don't know that I do help for free. Name a car, Cynthia. It is a lame insult. And I slept just fine, Bella. Um, they're designed to look like safety glasses, so if they look like goggles to you, that's because they are. So it's not even an insult. It was the shut up that bothered me. You don't get to tell me what to do. And if I shut up, the other people that have. You asked me to name a car. Call it Cynthia. Name the car Cynthia. Yeah, you have to pay me for that, Sanjay. Joseph Magdadia, or Magadia said, name a car. So I said, Cynthia. Name the car Cynthia. I'm doing great, Bella. I'm glad that you were able to laugh about what happened. Don't tell me what to do, Sanjay. You have mentioned that you are from India, which means that you know better than to ask a monastic to do anything for free. And you aren't asking. Yeah, I know he does, KJ. I'm being an asshole because you don't get to boss me around and get the expected results. Not my fucking dad. And if you were my dad, I'd tell you to get fucked to your face. India's Independence Day was yesterday, so they still got fireworks up their ass. I know that's what he wants. I'm being an asshole. Bonjour, Olivier. Pardon moi. I don't think I saw you yesterday. Bonsoir, as he says, being from northern France. Um, you guys are getting to hang out with so many people from the world is really making me want to turn my Duolingo back on. Como se va? Olivier's your long lost French cousin. And he's an assistant chef at a VIP restaurant. Sanjay, you've annoyed me, man. Have a good day, buddy. But we reserve the right to refuse service to anyone around here, and I find it bothersome to watch people pester people. I'm sorry. Can I sing for you? I would have to have something in my ear, and probably the camera not facing me. I have a very large mouth, and I don't like the shape of my face, so I don't want to look at myself and Diddy, if you understand what I'm saying. I have real bad performance anxiety. But I should put on music. Oh, don't tell me what to do, Bella. That was a playful don't tell me what to do. I hope you guys can tell the difference in the tone. I have no control over saying that. Actually, more like a begging you. I hate that fucking song, Bella. I gotta be real with you. I hate that fucking song. I hated that fucking, uh, I hated that fucking breakup song. Not as much as I'd like to be Luke Duke. Uh, I don't know, KJ, whether I'm gonna do a walk and talk today. I've got batteries for my fan and two, what are these? Is this a full liter? Yeah. I've got two of these, this much and a full bottle, a full one, which I should hit this actually. Let me do that. My voice isn't warmed up yet, Bella. As far as like I haven't done any kind of vocal warm up at all. I'm not going to sound good. How do you know I'm listening, Striker? How do you know I'm listening to the logical song? Can you guys hear it? No, I really, it's not. Kyle, that is funny, but I promise you guys it's just water. This one's not even been opened yet if you want to see me pop the seal. That is something that I've been waiting on somebody to say. C'est extrêmement bien. Ah, look at that. Extremely good. Or she is extremely good, I think. Something is extremely good. Extrêmement. Look at you with the accents. And anyway, Striker, how do you know I'm listening to the logical song? When night, or at night, when all the world's asleep, the questions run so deep for such a simple man. Whoa, magnifique. Look at that. Bella, we're not going to listen to any bands in common unless you like music from the 70s. No, I don't. I didn't know that Juice World was a band before the last time we spoke, or at least somebody in your age group spoke to me about music. You and I have two very fundamental differences that are going to contribute to why we have such a very different taste in music. Uh, the first reason that we have such a very different taste in music is that there's 20 years between us in age. And after you turn 30, it gets really hard to keep up with what 13-year-old girls like. I'm sorry, I meant to say teenage girls like. After you turn 30, it becomes really hard to keep up with what teenage girls like because you're not dating them anymore. I'm 38. The other reason that you and I have such a wildly different taste in music is because my second chromosome is missing a leg. Heard that, KJ. I'm smoking Delta 8 THC. I lost it a long time ago, Luke. I lost it a long time ago, buddy. If you think so, Luke, $25 every 10 days is not rent. But okay, if you say so. I don't know why I'm still talking to you. Just cut that off at the pass. And they say nip it in the bud. And just cut him off at his ass right before he shows it. Hey there, Greenie. I'm not saying that I was kind of building to the argument that I'm not structurally sound, Striker, and that she probably has a healthier taste in music. Most of the music I listen to makes me cry or want to yell. Oh, Greenie, that's maybe the most touching compliment I've ever gotten as an artist. You were almost there, crawling, 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 and then your circadian rhythm took over. That's right, Kyle. Um, so I'm going to continue with what's been working, and I am going to continue taking everyone seriously because that's what the fountain is about. But my trigger finger is a lot more sensitive than it used to be. I'm starting to catch up on the patterns. I learn quick. That's funny, Olivier. I do enjoy. I'm not going to read them out for the future. They just need to be here if they want to see the passive conversation. But I enjoy eavesdropping on your conversations. And I'm going to tease some of you for them if they go into places that I think might make people uncomfortable. And Bella's already got my apology for that going kind of the sideways yesterday. No, I'm not camping. Nicholas, I feel like I've seen you around. I feel like I've answered that question to you before. But if I haven't, good morning. From my tent, I am not camping. Would you like to see something else that's keeping me homeless at $13 every 20 days or so? I could probably smoke these $13 every 4 days if you guys encouraged me to. Bella, I appreciate that your music exists, but when I hear it, I go, God damn it, I don't have a vagina. I can't enjoy this. And then when I find myself doing it, I have the unholy urge to suck a dick, and I just don't know anyone. So, my crotch, probably. Cam Elto is probably related to Mike Crotch, probably. Uh, Kyle. The stream is about Joey Bankier, or Bankier, wherever you're from. The stream is about gathering together the random flyers by day and night of the YouTube chat section here on live and seeing if we can't get some interesting conversations together. I'm a curator of interesting conversations. I understand where it's coming from, guys. I also used to be a teenager. I'm doing great, Olivier. My back hurts like a motherfucker. I need to find a way to either get a kettlebell down here so I can work on my torso and my spine, or I need to find a way to spend less time in the day contorted, because my muscles are starting to atrophy to the shape that I sit all day. That's not your problem. That's my problem, and I'm saying it out loud because if I don't say it out loud, I'll continue to ignore it until my spine is permanently bent. That's correct. I hoard conversation. I love conversation. I just love to see people getting along. I even like to see people getting along in a civil way. Bella, if you just hang out for a while, one of these songs will make me want to contribute my vocals. I'm just also listening to a radio station of songs I don't know. And I'm doing that so I don't sing, but I might hum. And I might make a Neebs reference if I keep talking about music for too long. Man, this fucking Supertramp record, man. Oh, this is a different record. They just wrote bangers. That's all they did is write bangers. Oh, oh, Greenie, that was an embarrassing day in your life. I don't know that strong striker. That sounds like some real shit. Hello, Bavesh. Oh yeah, I would have freaked out if I had a kid and she asked me that, especially now. I'd freak. Why would you ask me that? Oh my god. Oh my god. Who are you talking to? I would have a complete freak out moment. Come out and play. Come out and play. I feel like I should know that song. It's not coming to my head, Striker. I've got another song in my ear that I don't know, and I just can't do that. Okay, Jay. Easily done. Yeah, you thought it meant muffin top. I'm in Ohio, Bavesh. That's the U.S. But I identify as being from North Carolina. Yeah, so glad I didn't have daughters. I don't have sons either, but so glad. I was hooking up with a girl who told me that she was pregnant while we were hooking up, and thank God that wasn't my kid. Mm-hmm. I could have anticipated you were from India, Bavesh, but thank you for telling me. Well, that's a little intense, Hunter, but I love you too, buddy. Let's keep it platonic. I don't like boys. I don't enjoy dating guys. Heard that, Bavesh. Were you progeny of that youth? She didn't know she was pregnant until after she broke up with him, and so she was trying to let me think that I had got her pregnant so that she had a baby daddy. It was a whole thing, Greenie. She was stringing us both along after she realized she was pregnant. She was telling me that she conceived 6 weeks after she did. Small town shit, Greenie. She was trying to get the fuck out of working. She was 19 and trying to get the fuck out of working 40 hours a week. She hated that job, and the once she realized she was pregnant, she had her ticket out. She wasn't manipulative. She was doing the best she could for herself with the skill sets that she had available to her in a tiny, tiny bum ass backward town in Ohio. And she saw me as smart and attractive and madly in love with another woman, and she thought that she could fill that hole in my heart and that I would take care of her baby. And I told her that that's just not me. Heard that, Striker? Yeah, I understand that, KJ. That's because the population is so small, but the government is so relatively centralized. I didn't believe it either, David. She approached me. It's not like I talked her up. She asked me if I wanted to go see a movie. And I said sure. And then we fucked. She got what she wanted. There's a lot of eugenics tied up in testing for paternity. Yeah, they have a eugenic culture, Striker. Yeah, I knew something was up. I was obviously pining after my ex. That she wanted to give me any amount of attention was confusing to me. Stick around, Bavesh. I cater to the wants of people, who, whose names are attached to uh, donations. She did it because she had broke up with her high school boyfriend after realizing that she was pregnant. You're smart, KJ. You're good conversation, and your art is future prospects. Women are more interested in our future prospects than our present prospects. The women who are interested in our present prospects are called prostitutes. That's kind of the story I'm telling about this girl. She was a fine girl. She was concerned about her future prospects, and she thought that I was smart. I wanted to be a writer. I worked 60 hours a week. I never missed a day of work. My day's going great, Hunter. That's not a real thing, funny Republican, but they'll tell you it is so that they can wear their kink in public and make money at it. This is what I do for a living, Bavesh. I'm a monk. I'm a monastic. I may have turned David off. Nope, there he is. Because she's older than you and she can lie to you and you'll believe it, David. Women don't actually find us attractive. If I have to come to India, then you can fund the trip. Hypergamist women, Philippines as well. I don't know, you figure it out, Bavesh. That's what you think, David, but if that were true, you would not be with her, you'd be with someone more attractive than her. Do I appear to think that women owe me something? Hobasaur? Alright, then make it happen, Bavesh. And if you think it's going to cost only $1,000, you're very wrong. I don't owe you an answer to a bad faith question, Hobasaur. I'm always high, funny Republican. Yeah, because you're not as attractive as you think you are, and you're actually not very good at sex. You're just available and you're kind of dumb. If you say so, Bavesh, pay for it. If you say so, just the facts. Here, let me demonstrate how the lid to this particular pot works. Because the question is framed in bad faith. Bavesh, you're gonna tell me to tour your country on the $88 that I make a month one more time, and you're gonna get the lid to the pot as well. And it's a question I don't owe you a good faith answer to, Hobasaur. It's a bad faith question. You're continuing to press in bad faith is why I'm continuing to string you along. Heard that, Olivier. I'm not trying to humble you. I'm speaking the truth to you, David. You're not very smart. You're probably an 8 in my books, Greenie. I don't know what that means, but I meant to say a 10 anyway. An 8 is kind of backhanded. Probably funny. The question itself is in bad faith because it has absolutely nothing to do with the conversation. That's why he doesn't want to leave her, is because he's dumb and he knows that he's not as attractive as he says he is. His prospects are dried up, and he's being taken care of by a woman 7 years older than him. He's a cuck. That's right, Greenie. And he does have mommy issues. That's right, funny Republican. I knew what I was doing when I was dating Greenie. I mean, I was married and happily married. Married and happily married enough that she invited another woman to live in our house so she didn't have to take care of all of her conjugal duties. Yeah, Dave, you're just not very smart, buddy. 25, no job, your mommy's taking care of you. You're just not very smart. Like, you're the definition of a loser. You're literally her loser boyfriend to her friends. They educate us plenty. We just consider it your responsibility, and then you consider it our responsibility. And so nobody takes responsibility, and then the child gets blamed. That's right, turn up the video. So said the guy, evidently zonked out in a tent. I hath spoken. How do you know what I'm listening to, Stryker? Can you guys hear what I'm listening to? There are no bears in Ohio. Yeah, you're 6'5" with green eyes and very, very dumb, David. I don't know why you're insisting on everything but the thing that I'm saying about you that's true. Bugs are a problem, Stinky Pete, sure. Well, yeah, but why is, again, like, we know that. Feminism has taught us that for minimum 30 years. They beat it into our heads when I was a kid. Men know. They just assume it's your responsibility because you should know your cycle. Yeah, KJ. We know. We just assume that you guys know when you're ovulating. 10 was pretty normal for German mothers in the Middle Ages, actually up until they started moving to the U.S. No, feminists beat the idea that men are responsible for birth control, Hobasaur. You listen in bad faith, so your questions are in bad faith. Your questions are meant as mousetraps, but I'm not an idiot. So, because you can't imagine a higher intelligence than yours, Hobasaur, you ask questions that I think only a stupid people would conceive of. I know that, Greenie, and I'm saying that everyone is responsible and the child suffers. That was my thesis. I was playing Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy III yesterday. Eh, Hobasaur is a female and probably has green hair that likes Pokemon to a sexual degree. I don't care what that person thinks about anything. No, raising a child well is the most difficult thing in the world, Olivier. Oh, Greenie, I hear you. You feel that way. I hear you. I'm not telling you that you're wrong. I'm telling you that if we put any more emphasis on men, they're going to continue being gay, and the fertility crisis is only going to get worse. Men are taking the responsibility of putting their nuts in one another. I'm not making fun of you, Greenie. Green is in your name. And I didn't say that gays aren't cool, but young men they're going to continue to come inside one another instead of young women. No, Hobasaur is a young woman. Probably a transsexual, but a young woman, definitely. Dave, I've tolerated you long enough. Now you're insulting my chat and you have to go. Heard that, Greenie. Yes. Hobasaur is a transsexual. Morning, Zoinks. How you doing? Zoinks! I can't do it, but I tried. I've disappointed Bella, but I've got a song that I kind of like to make fun of in my ear. I almost started singing there for a second ago. Like Zoinks, guys! I can't actually do it. I've always wanted to put red in my hair, Greenie. See if I can do it. I'm doing great, Zoinks. I hate this song. Yes, Hobosaur is a Pokemon furry, Stinky Pete. He wants me to say I hate women so he can offer to give me head. I dated a furry, and my favorite girlfriend was a furry, and I didn't get it either. The sex was incredible. So, she just couldn't stop doing it with other people. I know, funny. I've assumed at this point that you're no longer trying to insult me for laughs. Oh, it's let's dance. I can't do it right now because my voice isn't warmed up. That's why I told her I'm not gonna sing. I've been smoking and I haven't coughed yet. I need to let my vocal cords actually elongate so I can have a nice cough before my vocal cords are gonna work. I'm maintaining this because I get that nice raspy radio timbre right now. I can hit all these notes still. Oh no. Furries identify as cartoon animals. They dress up as cartoon animals in big, very, very elaborate and expensive costumes. Stupidly expensive, actually. That's not very nice, Brian. But if you guys want to go listen to some person named Bria Tax, I guess they're alive. Or they are live. I learned just enough Italian that I add us at the end of consonants that I don't need to. Pronouncing there, you don't need to pronounce the E at the end. Thera, don't need to do it. It's another reason that vocabulary doesn't stick. Put on your red shoes. Yeah, I don't like this guy. I don't like his music. I find his voice grating and annoying. But I know that women love it. 15K. What did I say was stupid expensive? Oh, the costumes. Yeah. Well, the economy has gotten ridiculous. They didn't used to be that expensive, but not grad students, art students have graduated in droves over the course of the last 15 years um, without work. Kids went to art school on student loans, didn't get good enough, didn't build a portfolio while they were in school, didn't go to grad school because they couldn't afford the loans, and then became furry artists, became commission artists online, and the commission art that makes money is furry art. And so the economy has gotten absolutely out of control because there's no regulation on it. You look like a J. For a costume, well, Olivier, it's also a sex thing. It's kink. I hear you, Straker. You like Prince. You like Ziggy Stardust. Not my shit. Not for me. 15K for one costume, but it's a full body costume, and it's probably got the articulated reverse knees, or the knees like a dog. So it probably looks like a bipedal animal, well, bipedal cartoon animal. It's probably also got a yiff hole for one costume. Yeah, it's probably a yiff suit that they're gonna wear to conventions. I'm glad to hear you disagree, Dav Hadur. You're gonna have to support your argument, or I'm gonna block you. So pick your poisons, pal. Roy Gallagher. he was with that Scottish group, the Scottish super group. I can't remember what their name is right now. I don't listen to their music. You'll Do It Again, I think is one of their songs. Well, that's his kink, and that's his status symbol within his community, Kyle. The kink communities, once you get involved, become status hierarchies very quickly. Very quickly. And that KJ is confirming that that's a YIF suit, confirms what I was saying. The people who make YIF suits, they charge a lot because they're working in sex costumes. A lot of those costumes are going to be filmed in the pornography cycles in underground circles because most of it is illegal. One of the things you can do is you can put a developed child in those costumes and you can film it and sell it on the internet, and that is a very real thing that happens. That's why I got out. I told her I can't be around these people anymore. They talk about that way too often, way too publicly. I can't be around these people. And she's like, not all of them are like that. And I'm like, so many of them are publicly that I don't believe that you're not. Because the female PDF is the more insidious of the two. She's the higher body count repeat offender. There's good data on this. And they don't go to jail. They don't go to trial. Like that woman that helped that guy with the e-name with that file that may or may not exist. She kept those files. She scouted the victims. All E did was find the buyers and keep them happy. Because talking to a woman about it is scummy. It's horrible to talk about, but there we go. That's why they spend so much money on it, because they are doing deeply illegal shit. Many of them. So the people who are involved in it know about it, know how illegal it is, and so they price themselves out of the range of the crackhead, basically. They don't want their work worn by people who are doing crimes that are going to be connected back to them by indiscretion. I know this because my ex took that exact route. She got into the university on debt, switched to an art major because she thought she could make commissions, didn't build a portfolio before 6 years after she had graduated from university, or started university, and transitioned to making fursuits. It's an ugly conversation. I'm sorry we're having it, but we had a disingenuous and bad faith Pokemon in the chat, and those are teaching moments. And if I have to be a pedagogue, if I have to be a demagogue, if I have to be a public speaker on some level, we have to take those teaching moments seriously. That's right, Striker. Hybrid anime hyper-colored body mod. Yep. And it's developed out of the Cabbage Patch adoption papers. She says Starscream and Megatron, Castle Grayskull. She means 80s cartoons in general. I don't think of Asians. Bandolero. Hey, Dylan. Speaking of doom scrolls or things that you can come across and learn about in the doom scroll of life, we were just explaining the underbelly of furdom, and Dylan's going to tell us about somebody he saw do something horribly violent here in a moment. Thank God it's no longer before 10 a.m. Ah, KJ's trying to get me to say something racist. I don't know that song either, Striker. I've got Roundabout in my ear right now. Let's just move on. Oh, very nice. Jazz and swing. So an actually pleasant doom scroll for you this morning. Great to hear it, buddy. I'm going to have to get up and pee here in a minute, which means that I might have to transition to my seat, or I might just have to take you guys up to Panera early. Go ahead and get something to eat. I think I'm down to 60 bucks, 40 bucks. It's a round number. I've spent a lot of money the last few days. I ate a lot the last few days. But I have a reason to go to Wendy's now. I think there's a girl who's sweet on me who works there. And so sometimes it's just nice to have a girl look at you and be like, I wish she would talk to me. Heard that, Jib. I have a $40 stimulus coming on the 21st, so I'm not super worried about it. Hey, at least it's only 4 days. You can do it on 4 days. Baconator is reason enough. And so yesterday, I went down to Wendy's to get a Baconator because my guy Alec had sent me money for food and for weed. So I spent the money on the food, or on the weed, and I wanted to go to Wendy's to spend too much money on a Baconator. I wanted a full size and a large fry, but I knew my stomach had shrunk too much that would hurt to walk back up the hill with. So I got a son of Baconator, and the one of the girls. One of the girls that used to work up here at this Taco Bell was working there, and I got to talking to her. It's her first day, and so I might like to go to Wendy's more often. It's just more expensive than Taco Bell because I need more calories. Zoinks, that information should be in my description. If it's not in my description, it should be in my profile page. All the ways that you guys can donate or offer to help, or basically if you want to buy me lunch, or if you want to buy me anything. Uh, and if you want it to go to my debt or wherever you want it to go, all you have to do is put it in that tag, and I will pledge to do as you ask. That's kind of why I'm telling the story. He sent me basically $20, $30 to spend on food. So I spent 15 at Wendy's and got to talk to her. And then I spent another 15 at Taco Bell last night. I have no idea, Dylan. I have no idea. I would assume that they all do, but I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea. I think I got a tip to, I call them tips, a donation. I think I got support to PayPal from Australia the other day that took $2.50, so I have no idea. But they also sent me a random number that wasn't an even round number, so I have no idea. Greetings, Triple. Thank you for the help. If you know what you're talking about, I never know if people are pulling the dark souls. I'm going to offer you helpful information, but it turns out to be a lie just to be funny. You want to make $1 million? Tina Turner. I've never listened to her music on purpose, and I haven't seen any of the original. What are those called? Mad Max. I can't cook, Vito. There are places within easy reach that I could buy food. There's a Kroger and a Dollar Tree within easy reach, but I can't cook. There's also a Walmart right down the street, a superstore with a grocery store. I think their food is actually, their brand is cheaper than Kroger's last time I was in there. Heard that, KG. That's three people who have confirmed that PayPal does the math for you. So that's multiple attestation. I can't have fire at my spot, guys. I know, that's what I was saying, Dylan. I figured that when you said good, you were being ironic and that you were going to tell us about a beheading or something. Nah, it's okay, Triple. The way it works, if I were cooking for myself, I wouldn't have been able to tell the story about this girl that's sweet on me that gave me a really nice smile yesterday, and she remembered my name, so I didn't have to tell her my name for my order. So when I looked down on my receipt and I saw my name, um, I knew I was alive. And I wouldn't get that if I were self-checkout at a Kroger to make food myself. Brett plays smooth jazz guitar, and that's how you spent your morning? I have no idea, Striker. I try to remain ignorant of that stuff because I don't have to know. I will want to know someday, I am sure. Yeah, I couldn't have fallen in love with one of the girls here in town if I didn't go out in town. You see what I'm saying, Triple? So many guys are like, oh, I gotta make my bill plan, I gotta make my food at home, I gotta be self-sufficient, and then they never meet a woman and they wonder why no women love them. I don't know who Chris Hansen is, Dylan. I'm almost jealous of you guys for winding up on interesting shit in your doom scrolls, and thank you for the compliment there, Kyle. I'm observing, so thank you for the passive compliment. No, I didn't hear what happened to Chris Hansen. Well, if you know that, you're welcome to not visit, Mad. Your name is oddly appropriate. You are mad at those outdoors for what reason I have no idea. Investigating Roblox? They should be. Yeah, I would do that too, Olivier. If I fart, I'll piss myself, Mad. Hello, Hemo. Just so you know, the two of you have a very, very warm welcome. I do not tie. Yeah, I would never accept a private chef job. The only people I know who do it are also prostitutes. Sometimes I do, Mad. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm too busy texting your mom. She sends those sweet nudes. Who wants to look at nudes in a urinal? Somebody might sneak up behind you. Heard that, Striker. No, I can't say that. Because I don't know what it means. I don't dislike Iran. Never been there. I have no reason to like it. I don't know it. It's never done anything to me. It's just a landmass. Landmasses have never done anything to me. Or do you mean the nationalistic ideology? I don't like any nationalistic ideology. I dislike all nationalistic ideology. We got the 7-year-old in chat. Plato and friends didn't vow silence except for the Pythagorean cult. I'm in Ohio, edit, but I am from North Carolina. If you're asking me where are you broadcasting from, you should probably include that word. Yep, that's exactly right, Olivier. It's adopting a family member to feed you. It's a Roman tradition. It's exactly what it is. And I'm proud to see you reject it. Thank you for the attempt, Ty. But I'll just say it again for the future. I never know when people are offering help in a Dark Souls manner to be funny when they're lying. Now we got Rush in my ear. I don't know this song either. I've made a Rush reference a couple of times. Fly by night. I don't know if the worldly goods thing is true, but yeah, you had to vow a decade of silence to be in Pythagoras' cult. But I don't know how real that is either. That's right, Ty. People are crazy. People do hurtful things because they think it's funny. And that's crazy. Sometimes, I don't know, it's a radio station. These songs are randomly generated. It's based on the Logical song. So, Stevie Nicks will probably show up at some point. Her band, Fleetwood Mac, did. Yeah, it's not impossible to be silent for 10 years, Stryker. It's just not. So that's mythological. I don't think it actually happened. I think they talked about it, but I don't think it actually happened. If Plato were a Pythagorean and didn't talk, how was he also a public speaker in his 20s? Doesn't make sense. He would have had to have been a Pythagorean before his teens were over. He would have had to have committed to the decade of silence in his boyhood. And they don't tell that story. They talk about initiation in adulthood. It's not inspiring. It's the point is to shut up and learn. Shut up and listen is the point. That the point is to not try to contradict your elders with what you think you know. Panera, it's expensive. It's expensive per calorie, Vito. It's expensive per calorie. But for what it is, middle class peasant food, no, it's inexpensive actually. They're losing money hand over fist. I don't know how they stay open. They stay open on charging way too much for their mixed drinks. That's right, Olivier. You French people don't like. I often make the joke that a French person isn't happy until someone else is making them food. They're not happy until someone else is paying for their food. They do not like to be bossed around and to provide anyone with food. They'll do it from their home, right? Am I wrong about this? This is something I deeply admire, actually. They're just not happy with the food until somebody else made it. Because it's not love. It's not food with love baked into it, if you understand. I love the French. Yeah, Olivier's laughing. I'm not being racist. I deeply admire this. They went to war over it once. He's not joking. They tried to conquer the whole fucking world because somebody made them try to feed Germany for a little while. It's not a joke. Olive Tapenade. It's beautiful. Yeah, when I think of getting food, Panera is not the first place I go. I go to Panera because they have electric outlets and they don't mind me being there. It's actually not uncommon for people to be there for 10 hours. I didn't see what Kyle said. That's impossible. Oh, 5 years? That's still impossible. It's not. It's less impossible to do as an adult, but I don't believe in it. I just don't believe it happened. But thank you for correcting me. I prefer to be wrong, so I'm not spreading misinformation. What's up, Lamontalo and JJ Juber? What's up? I'm good, man. How are you doing? I gotta pee. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to rearrange this stuff and start thinking about moving on with my day. Good morning, Alec. Great to see from you, man. How are you doing? Hope all of you are doing well. We seem to have moved past the ugly conversation and the ugly people who wanted to have them. So that's good. Bringing our regulars into a good vibe. That's what I'm talking about. Memorize these angles and shut up. It's not wrong, Stryker. I mean, if you think about the first 5 years of grade school, that's what they want us to do. Just memorize this shit, and shut up. Talk at recess. At least that's how they did school when I was a kid. Do it silently. Silently. And a lot of why they wanted you to do it silently is because one of the kids in class is always going to think that he knows the answer, and another kid in the class is going to think that this is stupid and we don't have to do it. And so if you just do it and shut up, you'll eventually understand why you're doing it. And that's how they treated school for us. I can't imagine that's how they treat it any differently, because kids still say, I hate going to this place. And people still make it to adulthood. I used to manage, and people made it to 18 years and the workforce all the time, not understanding why they were in the workforce. These hamburgers need made. This gas station needs attended. It's not that you need a wage. It's that the work needs doing. That's why there's a wage associated with it. If the work didn't need doing, someone would just volunteer. Yeah, Diogenes. Yeah, get on here and antagonize these mute bastards. Yeah, I'm pulling a Diogenes. I'm antagonizing. I'm antagonizing the antagonists. You know, Satan is the name of an angel. It's actually the name of an aspect of God. So this book I'm reading, Biblical Critical Theory, was in the first chapter is trying to explain trinities and trying to show trinities in the Old Testament, and it shows zero trinities. It shows a bunch of dualities, and then tries to make the argument that there are trinities all over the Old Testament. But there are trinities all over the Old Testament. God, the angel of the Lord, the angel of Yahweh that appears before Abraham, is three beings. It's three mirrored beings. And then when God is communicating with himself in heaven, he's communicating with three beings: himself, and Satan, because he's addressing the angel. It's the presence of the Lord is addressing the angel of the Lord and Satan, when Satan it returns to the presence of the Lord. What the presence of the Lord is the bubble of all things that encompass what God might be. And so Satan is God. He's one of God's aspects that travels the world in the same way that the angel of the Lord travels. But that word means adversary. And so when John and not John, when Peter, I think in the Gospel of John, tells Jesus, you don't need to go to Jerusalem and get yourself killed for your faith, Jesus turns around and says, get ye behind me, Satan. And what he means is not get out of my service, get out of my sight. He means follow in line behind me and march to my doom, because you are my adversary and you need to submit to my will. You are being adversarial to me, telling me what to do. And so I take that position with the trolls. No, I cannot do a backflip. But the ones that aren't amusing and ask questions that don't lead to anything interesting or good teaching knowledge, yes, I have been studying Christianity for 30 or more years, Olivier. I deeply want to believe in something. I deeply want to believe. And so I wanted to go to seminary. I want a PhD. Eventually someone will give me an honorary PhD in Christian studies, because I care that deeply. There's an object traveling through space. There are many objects traveling through space at high speed on a course with Earth. It's probably just another body of ice, probably just another comet. Hello, Sockwell. Give me a second, man. You can see that I'm doing stuff and that I'm engaging the chat. That's not true, Dixon. You could buy a gun or fall off a bridge today. Jesus would have absolutely nothing to do with that. In fact, he would disapprove, as would I. Yeah, don't do it, Sockwell. If you're looking to me for camping trips, don't go. Okay. Yeah, the coming star Wormwood is a prophecy about Darius the Great, I think. Yeah, sure. The zero was discovered in the Indus River Valley region. I'm in Ohio right now. Don't tell me what to do, Luther. But But as far as somebody asked me, I think KJ asked me if I'm going on a long walk today, a long walk and talk. Unlikely. My legs are tired, and I need to take a couple of days off of them because to let them the muscles from wearing these sandals repair. Otherwise, I'm gonna sprain something. Taking a long walk off a short pier. Yeah. World-ending object hurtling toward us. There are many of them. We've had many near misses in the last 20 years since we've started looking. As soon as you start looking, you're going to find what you're looking for. The only danger we're in is none. And knowing about the danger doesn't help us prepare for it. I don't remember, JJ. I can't remember whether the wormwood myth is the one that's talking about how Alexander the Great is going to come and punch Darius in the dick, or whether wormwood is the one predicting Cyrus. I can't remember, but I do have to pee, so I'm going to turn off my mic for a second. Okay, so as far as the way the prophecies worked, it kind of worked like this. The Bible, if it has a code, the code among the writers and readers of the Bible, because you have to understand that the Bible didn't go into widespread circulation until the Gutenberg press of like the 1600s or whenever the fuck that was, 1400s maybe. So the Bible didn't go into wide circulation until then. So the Bible wasn't written for wide circulation, which means that it wasn't composed in language meant to be consumed in wide circulation. Okay? So there's a code there. KJ can kind of know what I'm talking about. There's probably a code in all of his work that explains all of his influences and where it all came from and what it all means if you know how to read it. The Bible authors, because they were in dialogue among many tribes across many centuries, there's a code in how you write scripture in the Hebrew language. There's a code to how you do it, and that's how things can become canon or not canon. The things that don't follow the code don't fit in the library. They don't belong with the other things. And so when you're canonizing a library, what you do is you go through and you look for the things that aren't like the others. Okay, well, which of these things isn't like the others? Those don't get included. And then you end up with what we call the Old Testament. And so all of those things, what they have in common is the Hebrew code, okay? What that code is that prophecy, anything that's said as a prophecy by a character or a voice, if it's God, in the book, in the narrative, is what actually happened historically. That's what actually happened. And the way you can crack that code is you can realize that the books were composed decades and often centuries after the events that they're describing. And so if you're describing an event that's decades or centuries after, from decades or centuries after the event, predictions that are made in your text, in your description, are retrodictions. And the reason you use retrodiction as a code is so that everything else that's fictional within your work is obviously fictional. It's a brilliant code. and it allows your work to coexist with the Indo-European mythic system, which is entirely historical with mythical and ahistorical names. So I don't remember whether Wormwood is, and I don't remember whether it was Darius and then Cyrus or Cyrus and then Darius. I can never remember these. I never get them right. I think it was Cyrus and then Darius, actually. So I think Wormwood is actually Cyrus. And what they were saying is that the new one-horned unicorn goat was going to come and stab him in the dick, and that one-horned unicorn is Alexander. And the way we can know that and we confirm that isn't just multiple attestation by going and reading then contemporary sources from Babylon or wherever, Greece, for example, and finding similar appellations and similar descriptions and similar prophecies. The other way you can do it is by digging in the ground. And so you can just ask what the archaeology, what does the archaeology say? Okay, so the archaeology says that Alexander came one day and punched this guy in the dick, and then the Jews liked that because 50 years later this book was written describing that battle in a prophecy, describing that war or that conquest in a prophecy. And I no longer know whether my chat is working. There are a few ways that you guys could tell me that the chat is not working. I have no way of knowing if the chat is working or not. And if the chat's not working, I can either reset this thing and start over, or I can just go up to Panera. Well, I don't eat at Panera very often. When I say get something to eat, I might grab like a taco or take the bus down to Wendy's. Or, because Panera cost me $15 and I'm hungry 15 minutes after it's all down, even though I can feel that my stomach is full and I don't want to put food on top of it. Because Panera is mostly air. It's mostly filler. It's a lot of vegetables, but those vegetables have like no nutrients because you just aren't eating enough of them. You would have to eat like 2 whole tomatoes for the nutrients in the tomato to impact your day. And they put a shitload of tomato on there. They put a half tomato on a half sandwich. I don't need that much fucking tomato. That tastes bad. I see my analytics wobbling, which suggests to me that my chat is probably busted. And I don't want to go back to thinking about Jelly Roll. I just don't. I'm going to have people still talking to me about him because I made a video about him and I'm hitting the algorithm. YouTube promised that once I hit 500 subs, they would take me seriously and they would throw me in the algorithm with the big boys. And they weren't joking. They have. They've done their end. I eclipsed 300 views on a short for the first time. Did I say 300? 3,000. So that's cool. But yeah, some people are upset that I called Jelly Roll and his award, receiving his award, not aspirational. That's anti-aspirational. But I don't think that a lot of people with face tattoos appreciate that when you put that tattoo on your face, you've gone as far as you're going to go. Anything else you accomplish in life after that tattoo goes on your face is at the mercy and grace of a higher human power. God has already walked out on you because you walked out on him the moment you thought that was a good idea. And so the face tattoos, the teeth, the drugs, the crime, the jail time, and then like wanting to turn around and pull the angel thing. What are they called? The biker guys, Hell's Angels, like wanting to pull the Hell's Angels. But I'm a philanthropist. I do so much for the community, and I talk about Jesus. But what Jesus would have recommended that he do is walk out into the desert and stay there. He didn't do that. That life before he found Jesus was not his wilderness. That was not his time in the desert. Do you think that he lived in guilt during all of that? Do you think that he was really beating himself up for all that while it was happening? Or do you think that he learned the difference in good and bad, right and wrong in prison, and now he's realized, because he's a criminal, that it's lucrative? Well, if lawyers can make money knowing the difference in right and wrong, I can go out here and make a whole hell of a lot of money at it, and we're taken. And so I shouldn't talk about it. Because I don't want to talk about that guy. I've never listened to a second of his music. I saw that guy with my eyeballs, and I said, nope, moving on. Nope, don't need him or his fans. I did the same thing with ICP when my cousin, when he was starting high school, decided that he wanted to be a juggalo. I heard that and I said, nope, nope, repulsive. Repulsive anti-intellectualism. And look, you can be an anti-intellectual. You can be whoever the hell or whatever the hell you want. And I am certain at this point that my chat is busted. So I'll do my goodbyes in a second, because this is the point. You can be whatever the hell you want. But I'm going to tell you that I have no need for you. If you come across my feed or you show up in the channel and you want to make your life of sin about me. Thank everyone else, though. The rest of you who are here to just have a good time, good vibe, share their lives with one another. Today we really opened up, and there was a lot of conversation that I just got to passively observe. That was really cool. And so for the future audience, get your ass in the chat, but thank you for being here. And turn the comment section into the chat section. Keep this party rolling. Thank you guys. You're the best. All of you. You're the best at what you do. Even if what you do to me is the worst possible thing. Keep up at it.